Good day, Mrs. Christine Katyong and you, Miss Filma Granada. I am Lendy G. Florentino, a BEED-2A student. I am here to discuss my topic about the analytic and holistic assessment. The analytic and holistic assessment came from the rubrics. What is a rubrics in assessment? A rubric is an assessment tool that maps the criteria for assignment completion against standards for success. Rubrics help to address the specific components of your marking scheme. As you can see, this is the example of the rubrics assessment. For example, a rubric for an AC might tell students that their work will be judged on purpose, organization, details, voice, and mechanics. A good rubric also describes levels of quality for each of the criteria. So when we say analytic assessment, it refers to the specific approach in the assessment of learning outcomes. It involves assessing different aspects of students' performance, such as mechanics, grammar, style, organization, and voice in student writing. The most apparent advantage of using analytic assessment is that they provide a nuanced and detailed image of student performance by taking different aspects into consideration. Analytic scoring is a method of evaluating student work that requires assigning a separate score for each dimension of a task. As you can see, this is the example of analytic scoring. So moving forward to holistic assessment. So in this procedure, students are given feedback on how well they are doing on each important aspect of a specific task expected from them. It also refers to a global approach in the assessment of the student learning outcome. Sadler 2009 pointed out that in holistic assessment, the teacher or the assessor has to develop mental responses to student work in evaluating the student work. The assessor provides a grade and supports it with a valid justification for assigning the grades. Holistic assessment could be in the form of reflection paper and journals, peer assessment, group presentation, and portfolio. So right now, we will talk about the holistic scoring. It provides an examine with a single score regarding the quality of examined work performance as a whole. Most commonly, holistic scoring is used to access writing samples. Though it may be employed to access any performance task, for example, acting, debate, dance, or athletics. So as you can see, this is the example of holistic rubric. Students need to appreciate what constitutes work of higher quality to compare the quality of their emerging work with the higher quality and to draw on a store of tactics to modify their work as necessary. In this chapter, this theme is extended in two ways. The first is an analysis of the fundamental validity of using preset criteria as a general approach to appraising quality. The second is a teaching design that enables holistic appraisal to align pedagogy with assessment. For the purposes of this chapter, a course refers to a unit of study that forms a relatively self-contained component of a degree program. A student responds to an assessment task is referred to as a work. The assessed quality of each work is represented by a numerical, literal, or verbal mark or grade. Detailed feedback from the teacher may accompany the grade. For the types of work of interest in this chapter, grades are mostly produced in one of two ways. In analytic grading, the teacher makes separate qualitative judgment on a limited number of properties or criteria. These are usually preset, that is, they are nominated in advance. Each criterion is used to appraising each student's work. The teacher may prescribe the criteria or student and teacher may negotiate them. Alternatively, the teacher may require that students develop their own criteria as a means of deepening their involvement in the assessment process. In this chapter, how the criteria are decided is not important. After the separate judgment on the criteria are made, they are combined using a rule or formula. Analytic grading is overtly systematic by identifying the specific elements that contribute to the final grade. Analytic grading provides the student with explicit feedback. So, when we say analytic, it refers to a specific approach in the assessment of learning outcomes. It also means taking an overall assessment considering all criteria simultaneously. So that would be all about analytic and holistic assessment. Thank you.